Cindy for this wonderful evening, and hi everyone. It's amazing to be here. It's such a huge room, yet so intimate, which is such a rare combination. And I promise you, I'm not always dressed in so many colors, but I don't know how many of you are familiar with cricket. India reached the semi-finals today. We won the semi-finals. Pledge that if India, and we beat Pakistan, so which is like for us, we won the finals, it's okay. So the deal was, I promised, like I won't touch wine for 2 weeks and I'll wear everything that's there in the Indian flag if we win today. So all these colors are a part of the Indian flag, so that's the reason. I grew up across 3 continents, like I've lived in the United States for 11 years, my parents were in Libya for about 15 years, and I was born in India, and I've studied in boarding schools, lived in hostels, and all of that stuff. And so I'm really excited about my background because I guess it gives me a perspective on different cultures. But just looking at what's happening with Libya right now, it breaks my heart on a very personal level. Because to me, I have just the fondest memories of that place, and I just began to realize, and I was telling my husband, I guess memories are what your friends and family make it for you. It's not really the place. And, I guess I had a good childhood, and that's why I'm just heartbroken with what's happening there. So the first poem that I'm going to read tonight was published in the Newsverse News. It's called Libyan Memory, Libyan Nightmare. I haven't seen it in 15 years. The last time I was there, the air was warm. The sky smiled. I was buried under skinny days and teenage crushes. The land where I learned to play ping pong, chop the ball to win the game, knocks dead limbs like a soccer ball, keeps scores of defiant voices. The Mediterranean Sea, pristine like a sheet of silk, swallowed my adolescent ants, is bleeding tears today. Waves let out shrills. The bakery from across my home, where my brother went every summer morning to fetch kubza, smells of putrefied promises. When I'm asked, what have you lost? I whisper, you would understand. My childhood home is filled with blood. Nightmares replace memories. I watch with sand in my eyes, my lips dry from praying. I fear the stories yet to unfold. I mourn the dunes of bodies acting as markers for the future. I promise to keep with my reading. This is the emotional curve you go through. It'll be really depressing, then hopefully funny, then a bit depressing. The next poem is called We All Become Our Mothers, and in fact, it's upcoming in First Literary Review. It's the June issue, perhaps? Or the May issue? Close to Mother's Day. May.
Mother's Day.
Oh, I'm a terrible daughter. Yeah. I remember to call my mother and send her flowers, so not that bad. So it's called We All Become Our Mothers. Perhaps I would do it differently. I always thought, when I heard the tide of my mother's displeasure pour into pores of my teenage rebellion, the rolling of the eyes, right to left, at dirty dishes strewn like dead squirrels, outside notorious high schools, the finger test of sprinkles of dust, as if they were ashes of dead frustrations spilling through hell. Traditions mummified in every breath, a beetle chasing perfection, defoliating stems of time until her health was reduced to bare bones. Wearing my belly button ring of defiance, I made sure as the sun burned in the east every morning that my ears were like rocks, impermeable and calcified, with no room for ants, just moss of impetuousness. I believed nomadic life would be settling. Nauseous my pen would feel if I ever bled it to tattoo a permanent address next to my name. I wake up, 15 years and 150 arguments later, in my apartment at 6 a.m. to the smell of lemon pledge and a view of cirrus staring every winter night. eyes, with fine china reflecting the shadow of my dreams, I conceive the larva comes from the informal egg. I'm going to read a really short, it's a haiku that's redundant, of course it's short. The book is titled Whispering Woes of Ganges and Zambezi, and there's a poet from Zimbabwe, and he and I worked on this collaboration. So he does a lot of spoken word, and so we decided like he has the longer poems and I'll go with the haikus, and we've written about the political and the social situation in developing countries. So this is called White Linen. White linen covers communities. Potholes overflow, blood in mosquito's belly, axe isn't a toy. This book came out last week, was it? Or the week before? Like less than 2 weeks ago. It's called Not All Birds Sing. This is my first collaborative book. I mean, that was my first collaborative book, but this is cross-genre. I met this artist, an Australian visual artist, at a residency in Portugal. We like the same kind of wines, we share the same sense of humor. We're like, not only are we friends, we also have like the same work ethos, and we started working on this project. So what I've done is I've responded to her, her video work or her visual art with haiku poems. And I thought this one would be apt, given we are like embarking upon April. Winds can't bury wings. Winds can't bury wings of sorrow hanging from trees. April breeze soothes aches. This book of mine is called Kaleidoscope: An Asian Journey of Colors, and this is a very non-political book. Like, I don't read colors in any other skin form. It's just the colors in the closet of a Hindu woman, and each color has a lot of significance, be it green or red or yellow, and these are colors some of Hindu women identify with in India, and come to think of it, it's basically men who designated which color identifies or rather represents what. So white being the color of widowhood, red is the color of a bride. And for a society which is so full of colors, when a woman becomes a widow, it's like amongst everything else, even colors are snatched from her. So the poem that I want to read from this book tonight it's called Poetry in Flowers, and this is for Patricia because she really